What is going on, you guys? It's Extreme here, and welcome back to another episode of Road to Max Prestige. For those of you that are new around here, in this series, I am trying to get to Max Prestige. And yet, I'm not even close. So, sometimes in the commentaries of these videos, I like to talk about things from my past. Today, it's story time, because today I am going to tell you guys about one of the most unique places I have ever been with a woman. Now, if you're new around here, I tend to tell very mature stories from my life. You know, the kind where I get laid. Yeah. I'm going to be doing that today. So if you are interested, stick around. This will be a little interesting. So I want to set up this episode by going back over some of the places I have done this at. Now, I have done it in front of a police station. I have done it in a movie theater. I have done it in a couple other places I haven't mentioned before. I've done it outside. But there have been some places I've had sex with a woman. I want to clarify that for all you crazy assholes out there that want to question shit. I've done it in places that some may never think about doing it or have the opportunity to do it. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a little crazy, some of the stuff that, yeah. Some of the places I've done it are just what the fuck, and some of them are downright illegal. Case in point, I've never told you guys about the time I did it at the city courthouse. There's a very specific reason why I haven't shared that story, but I think I might have to sometime soon. I've done it at amusement parks. I've done it at SeaWorld. I have done it at, I've done it at my work a couple times. I have done it at the museums here in San Diego. I did it at the zoo once. That was interesting. I've had sex all over the place here in San Diego. In one way, shape, or form, I've either had physical penetration sex, or I've had I've received oral sex, or on a few occasions I've received the pathetic, in my personal opinion, hand job. I'll talk about why I don't like hand jobs in a later video, but for now, let's get back to one of the more unique places I've done it. In fact, it actually kind of tripped me out. And I haven't shared this story, not because I didn't want to. It was one of those on the list of stories that I go, yeah, I've done that. Let's never think about it again. And the only reason I was reminded of this story is I recently bumped into the young lady, she's not young anymore, that I did this with. This was someone I was friends with back in high school, and after school was over, she and I kind of lost touch, and it happened even more so after this occurrence. Now, at the time, my assumption was she got pregnant and yada yada yada. Well, technically that's true, but it wasn't by me. No, she wasn't a whore. There's a long story behind it, and I'm not going to go into that, but let's just say there were circumstances that I didn't know were going on, and yeah, we'll save that for a later date. So, this friend of mine, I'm not even going to give her a name, I'm not going to give her a phony name or any of that crap. I'm just going to say, we're going to refer to her as the gothic chick, and the reason for that is, well, she was a gothic life. She lived a gothic lifestyle, but in a really abstract kind of way, because she was also very, very Catholic. She was raised Catholic. She had strong connections to her faith, but she lived this, I wouldn't say morbid, but she lived a very dark life. She had a very dark outlook on life because she'd had a lot of bad shit happen to her. She had been raped, you know, some really horrible crap happened to her in life, and this was all before I ever met her. Like, she was raped when she was 13 by her stepdad, who was no longer her stepdad when I met her. You know, she had been physically abused by a boyfriend. Just prior to me meeting her, I found out about this. Yeah, if you've been following my channel at all, you know how I stand on shit like that. The dude had already suffered punishment for what he did. He was gonna suffer again by my hand. Yeah. So she had a lot of crap happen to her in her life, and she found, I guess, solace in living this dark lifestyle where she was really quiet. She kind of stuck to herself. She didn't really want to be bothered. You know, she didn't really want to make any, as a motorcycle goes, driving down the road. She didn't really want to be social. And so, in a way, the way she chose to be gothic was be very quiet, be very, reserved, very antisocial. And of course, she would wear nothing but black. She would wear very light colored makeup, and she would also wear black makeup. She didn't wear any colors if she could avoid it, at least what you could see, as I would find out. She wasn't like a vampire type chick. No, she was just very dark mentality, and like I said, found a sense of comfort in that lifestyle. Now, the reason I've shared all of that is because you have to understand, she also had a kooky side to her. And it was a good kooky side. It was a fun kooky side, but also a little creepy. Case in point, after not talking to her for a few months after school got out, I get an email from her. Now, this was before I had a cell phone or any of that crap. I was 19 at the time. And she had my email. So she emailed me, and we started emailing back and forth this one afternoon, and slowly but surely we end up coming to the idea of hanging out later that night. I'd come over to her place where she had a couple roommates who were in college, and they were gone for the weekend, so she was all alone. She had nobody there. She was a little uncomfortable being alone, and yet she was also a little horny. So she'd always had a thing for me, and she was down to have some fun, if you know what I mean, and I was down to have some fun with her. So one thing kind of sort of led to another, and we wound up hooking up that night. One of my most enjoyable nights I've ever had. It was literally just fun for the sake of fun. There was no talk of commitment or relationship. It literally was, I want to bang the crap out of you, and I want to have some fun doing it. And she was down, and I was down, so we did, and it went well. And so after we talked for, I don't know, like an hour or two, we emailed back and forth for like an hour or two, whatever it was. And then I head over to her place. Now, I don't drive, so I had to take the bus. Excuse me one second. I literally just woke up a little bit ago, and I don't know what the fuck, but my throat has got... Anyways, I don't know why I'm oversharing that, but... So, she tells me to come over. Gives me her address. I head over. I get to her place, and I get into her apartment, and it was confusing, her apartment. Now, there's 3 bedrooms in the apartment. She had 2 roommates, one of which was a cheerleader for I think it was SDSU, the Aztecs here in San Diego. And the other one was a tomboy. Very, very, very tomboy. Borderline butch, except she's straight, which was interesting how I found that out. I'll maybe talk about it later. So, oh boy. In this apartment, you've got girly stuff, you've got tomboyish type, they got guy stuff as well, you've got gothic stuff, and it's all kind of mixed in the living room, and in the kitchen, and in the bathroom in the living room. And then you go into her bedroom, my friend's bedroom, and it's like black curtains, just black everywhere, no colors really, except for books and stuff like that. No girly stuff. It was a little offsetting just for a moment. But even more so when you look to where her bed would be, and instead of a bed, there's a casket. I'm not making this up. She had a casket for a bed. Custom-made casket with a bed in it. What the fuck? Now, when I saw this, my initial thought was, holy shit. This is a joke, right? Like, this is a joke. We're going to do it in the living room, right? We're not going to do it on that. We're not going to do it in this thing, are we? And she looked at me with this innocent look on her face, because that's just how she did things. And she's like, well, that's my bed. I mean, we could do it in the living room if you're more comfortable, but that's my bed. And so, yeah, I'd like to do it in my bed if you're okay with that. And I'm all, wait, what? Hold up. You want to do it in the bed? In the bed's a box and a lid and oh shit. Like, I won't lie, I went into freak out mode, because when you go into someone's home, you're going to have sex with them, and they don't have a bed, they have a box. It's a little trippy, okay? Not something I'm used to. So it threw me for a bit of a whirlwind effect, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna die. And in reality, it is just, this is what she found comfort in. You know, she really did sleep in a casket. Now, it wasn't like, oh my god, this is a real casket. It wasn't. It was a box that was outfitted to look like a casket. It had an actual mattress in it. The whole thing was custom made. Her dad was a carpenter, so he made the whole thing for her. It was really good. It was really well done. It looked real, all right? Like, I honestly thought it was a real casket. So I'm pretty sure you guys have figured out by now that yours truly would end up doing it in the casket. But to be brutally honest, it was the most unique and uncomfortable places I've ever had sex in my life. Not because it was a casket, but because, well, I'm not a skinny person. Sure, there wasn't really a whole lot of room to move around, if you get my drift, and yeah. Physically, it was uncomfortable. Mentally, I was fine because, oh, it was good. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you did enjoy this episode. I'll be back on Monday with another one. Not the greatest story, I know, but until next time, adios. Prestige. Now, I don't have the list of the weapons available. I know that the EM1 was one of them, the AE4 is one of them. I know that the ASM1 Speakeasy is one of the weapons you can unlock. I think that's one you unlock toward the end of your prestiging. So, all in all, there's a very large selection of weapons. And, you know, I'm kind of happy with that. I'm kind of glad that they've added this option in for those that really want the long-term investment, as well as want a guaranteed way to unlock certain versions of the gun. However, when you take into account that unless you're already Prestige Master, oh